Okay, so I am in Cache. Let's see if I can do this. So I wanted to share a little bit about how we grew up, and it was so awesome. You poor babies, y'all don't get what we had. Generation X. I know I've seen some things on YouTube and shorts. It's really kind of funny because we'll fight you. We drink out of the water hose. Mom and Daddy kicked us out early in the morning and locked the door, and we didn't get to come back in. We roamed. We didn't play games. We didn't stay in the house. So this is the back road back behind where we grew up. And what this is that was a railroad way back in the day. And so we live in a rural area, and it's called Cache. But it used to have a post office and a school and a depot for the railroad. And this was the main thoroughfare. And there you see that tree line. Well, that is an old railroad. You can still see the hump there. Well, I assure you there's no railroad spikes or insulators or anything, because Timothy and I, we snatched all that up back in the 70s. And I remember when they put this power line in. That was a big deal. Oh, bless me. Sweet Jesus. And the allergies. But, so this road is where I would come and pray and talk to God and solve all my problems when I was coming of age. That awkward time when you're in puberty and you go from a girl to I don't want to be a woman yet. What the heck is all this about? And I would just get on my bicycle and I'd ride down here and sit by where the railroad track used to be. And all this was nothing. Mrs. Ushery, Beulah Ushery, owned all of this you see. It was 150 acres. It had 5 ponds on it and a well. And my very first job was pumping her water for her. And when the weather was bad and as she got older, she did not have a bathroom. She didn't have facilities. So I would empty her chamber pots when it iced over or snowed. And then when she got older too, I would come down here and do that for her. And she has, and it's still here, a tornado shelter built into the ground. And this is where we would always come and get our Christmas trees, somewhere, anywhere we wanted to, with a hatchet. And this is where I learned to drive, or this is the first time I ever drove. Daddy put the old Ford pickup out here and put me behind the gate, and I just drove in first gear until I got the hang of it. And here we've got the postman coming, so let's pull over. So these houses, none of this was here. This was just nothing but Miss Beulah Ushery had a little farmhouse, just a little old house like ours, sit right here, and 150 acres. And so when she passed, it got all split up and people built. There is the storm shelter right there, if you can see it. Right there, it's a blue door. And every year I would go in and clean it out and had electricity in it and stock it for her just in case we had an issue. So I would walk up here and do that. Now this is our land. This is where we were. And as I said, I had the house demoed and I sold it to a church. And it just is perfect for the church because it has 2 side roads and a highway. And they're going to have 3 entrances. And it's just looking real good. They've got the outside of it finished now. And they're working on the inside. And of course, that's going to be a choir and musical instruments and all that good stuff. So this is where we grew up. And this was our little spot. And so, don't you know, God sent this to me. I didn't advertise or anything. You know, I had a stroke. Daddy died in March. And I had a stroke in July. And I know why. It was a lot to do, and I was by myself, but I got it done. And I got back out here in October because God is good and did really well. Okay. So this is where we lived, and I'm going to show you the Roberts. Okay, so that's where the church is, and this is where we went to church. This was the First Baptist Church of Cache right there, so we would walk. next corner is where the Roberts grocery store was. Boy, it looks real bad. So when I was a senior in high school, they built this little tire shop, and it never really did anything. They sold used tires out of it, and you know, they didn't have anything, and they were way in debt. It was very unfortunate. And then here's the store. So this is where you got your last name, girl. Right here. And that's their house. It's been in bad shape. They, I don't know, the oldest son died a couple of years ago, and so it's a sad story. All of it's bad. Just the whole darn thing is bad. But let's see, can we get the sign? Yeah, there's Robert's Grocery Station. I think they had 2 gas pumps at one time, and then they went down to 1. But yeah, they lost this years ago. They owed so much money, and so this is where it all happened. You know, my best friend lived right there, and I used to come down here and stay with her a lot. There's a little house on the other side of this fruit stand that's all grown up. But that's the Robert's place. There used to be a cotton gin right here. All I know is it was a snake pit, but there was a pond for the cotton gin. But I certainly remember it. But we rode our bikes, my goodness gracious. We would get out here, and we had just a wonderful childhood. Girl, we could stay out all day long. And you can go from here to Quinlan, to the next city on back roads. And we knew how to do it. So now, there's an old Church of Christ that's been here forever, since the railroad. And none of this was back here, girl. None of this. Oh, there was one old homestead back here, if I remember correctly. But Lord, we'd have so much fun. Now, way back up in here, and then there is a spread out here where they raise Angus cattle. Sounds good. I love cow. Ooh, I love me some cow. But this is what we did during the summer. Oh my mercy. Yep, there's the Angus deal right over there. Yep, this is where they are. This was that old homestead I was telling you about. There's a couple of these scattered about. Boy, Mom and Daddy would have got on to us good if they'd have known that we did going through these houses. We did. We'd have somebody stand watch, and the other one would go in and see what was in there. Nothing was in there. Well, there was old stuff. We didn't ever take anything. I remember one of them had newspapers for wallpaper. That's not the oldest one. There's one older than that. So this is all for hay. And that's got cattle on it. Well, I tell you, I'm so old and fat now, I couldn't get back here on a bicycle. But we sure did. Timothy's first job was with Steve's Trees. So there was a tree farm out here, and he got a moped for Christmas. It wasn't one you pedaled, it was just a little, I don't know, 50cc or under, a little moped. And he would take the back roads out to the tree farm, and he would run the irrigation. And he was, I think, in 8th grade. And that was in, he worked for Steve's Trees for quite some time. Anytime he wanted to, basically. He was a hard worker. And honest and trustworthy. You could trust him with anything. And yeah, very hard worker. Started babysitting. I guess my first gig was 12 or 13. And or I would clean out flower beds, or I'd scrub pots shiny for friends that were well off. We had a couple of friends that were generational wealth. I mean, they were generational wealth. And then, back-breaking work, cleaning out flower beds all the way around a big old house. Good gosh. But it was money, and I didn't mind working hard. One of us did. Ooh, wait, what is this? My, this is new. That's expensive. Oh, gosh, I've dead-ended it. Well, they have changed this around, and I have done pulled into somebody's ranch. So let me just pull right out. Okay, that's probably enough for now, but you get the idea. We were out in the rural, where you could have fun and things were safe back then. You didn't have to worry. I sure think about the kids today. Your daughter's never going to know that. Unless y'all get off grid. Anyway, love you. I wanted to show you that. So that was a very short little tour. I'm out of the house. We've got a cold front today. It's only going to be 98, and I'm telling you, it feels wonderful. So I need to get out of the house. Little side note, little advice. Always wear sunscreen. Don't be Generation X. We used to climb on the roof at a friend of mine's house, and we used baby oil and iodine, and we tanned and tanned and tanned. And you see where I had a little carcinoma cut off the tip of my nose yesterday, and I can't tell you how bad that hurt. It hurt really bad. Next, I get to have some dental work done where the seizures I had after my stroke took out a tooth, and I had lost one tooth and then 4 teeth, and so I had the fun job of getting that replaced, and man, I dread it because nobody gives pain medication anymore because of the opiate crisis. So that's I'm gonna suffer, but so my comfort is far more important than my vanity, and I don't feel real good. That does hurt, man, and there's nothing I can do about it. So here you go. That's the way it is. Me and my big hat, because I can't wear sunscreen. So don't do that. Wear sunscreen, baby. You don't want these carcinomas. They hurt. It was like a little ice cream scoop with a scalpel, and she just came at me, and I mean, dug dug out the end of my nose, so I know that's going to leave a mark. Have mercy. So anyway, I'm going to head back home. I think I'll go to the lake. Sit and listen to some water lapping. I love you. Mom and Daddy loved you too. Everything's going to be alright, baby. You've got this. You're in my prayers constantly. You really are. So is Lakey. So is Sky. And your father and I'm fixing to do another video for him. I guess with the tip of my nose off. Love you, bye.